Hey guys, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to part 10 of my pop EDM production series in Logic Pro 10. In the previous video, what we did is we went through all of the verse vocals and we time corrected all of the timings and lined up the backing vocal to the lead vocal with flex time. In this video, what we're going to do is we are going to use flex pitch to tune all of the vocals in the verses. So the first thing that we want to do is I'm going to get out of flex view. I'm going to drag over both of the clips in the verse lead track and hit J to join them together. But what this also does is it renders all of those flex edits that we made into a new clip. So I'm going to do the same thing for the double track, drag over them both and hit J. And the other thing I'm going to do that I've already kind of done off screen is I'm going to set the verse double track, which was pulled down in the mix a little bit, further up in the mix just so we can hear it, and I'm going to pan it center just for now. So flex pitch is essentially a lot like Melodyne or Waves Tune or Auto Tune, where you can go in and you can correct tuning discrepancies in your recordings. It's particularly useful for vocals. The way you turn it on is you show your flex right here, and instead of choosing a flex time algorithm like we did before, like polyphonic, we're going to choose flex pitch. We're going to get a completely different looking view that loads up. Now, I am not a fan at all of using flex pitch within the arrange window. I just don't like it here. It's not very useful to work with here. So I like to double click on the top bar here of the clip, and it opens it up in the file editor. And then you can click on the track editor, and you can get a better sort of zoomed in view. Flex pitch and vocal tuning in general, let me just zoom in vertically here a little bit. Flex pitch and vocal tuning in general is an imperfect process. You're going to find that sometimes certain vocalists are more difficult to tune. You'll find that sometimes the flex analysis isn't perfect. It doesn't put notes where they're supposed to go. In our case, it actually turned out pretty good. And over the last few years, Logic has drastically improved the quality of the analysis for flex pitch. So they've done a lot of good things that really help it to be more accurate. So basically what we're looking at is a keyboard. If you've never used flex pitch before, we're looking at like a keyboard piano roll editor, but instead of MIDI notes, we're getting these little notes that are the notes within her vocal recording. And we can grab these by the center and we can move them up, move them down to snap them to different notes in the grid. You can, if you drag over these little hot zones or whatever you want to call them, these little points, you can pull them up by fine intervals. So that's cents. A cent is 1/100th of a semitone. Moving this up one step on the keyboard, or it's called a half step musically, is one semitone. You can also control the front end and back end pitch drift of the note. So if you find that the note sort of is a little too high on the front end, you can pull this down or pull this up to try to level the pitch on the note. And notice the little line running through all of these. That's showing the pitch variation across time for that particular note. You can do the same for the back end. You can also add gain, so you can make a note louder or softer. And you can also control vibrato, which takes out all that pitch variation. And then you can also adjust what's called the formants. The formants are you can barely see it. It's just like kind of a little ghost of a note in the background there. Formants are essentially the meaningful overtones in the human vocal tract that make the voice sound like a voice. It's kind of like shifting your overtone series up or down, but keeping the fundamental note the same. So if you shift it up, it's going to sort of sound more feminine. If you push it up too much, it's going to sort of have that Alvin and the Chipmunks sort of sound to it. You pull it down, it's going to sound more deep and more masculine. So you can take individual notes or a singer and make her brighter, or maybe make her a little bit deeper. We won't be playing with the format shift today, but when we create artificial backing vocals for our vocals, we will be playing with those quite a bit. Now, another thing you can do is you can right-click on the note and you can say reset pitch curve. And you could say right-click and you can say set to perfect pitch, set to original pitch. So we'll use that a little bit later, but resetting the pitch curve essentially resets the vibrato and resets the pitch drift. I believe it, let's see, I don't know if it resets the vibrato. Yes, it does. It resets the vibrato and then the pitch drift. We got to go back here and adjust the format back to 0, and it will set the gain back to 0 as well. So there we go. All right. We're going to do this pretty easy for the verses. It'll be a little more complicated for the hook, but we can actually snap these notes to the grid, much like you can quantize notes in a MIDI piano roll editor. What you can do is over here under Scale Quantize, let me just pull this out so you can see it better. You can change, you can basically set a scale to quantize the pitches to. So this song is in B minor. So I'm going to choose, instead of off, we're going to choose B. And then for the scale, we're going to choose natural minor. So now when I move a note around, it'll only snap to the notes within B minor, which is B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B. So it'll only snap to those notes. So the cool thing about this is we can drag over these, and you can just pull this pitch correction amount up here, and this controls the amount of quantization. So now all these notes are snapped to the grid lines. Now, fortunately enough, in the verses, I told you we've got this sort of like one note melody. There are some spots in here where we want to get rid of the vocal tuning altogether. For instance, let's listen to this.
You got me going like a fire, got me going good.
On the end, she says good. She's almost just speaking that last word. She's not really singing it. So we're going to delete those notes on that last word. It'll still play the note or that word, but it's not going to tune that word.
Like a fire, got me going good.
And another really big improvement that they made to flex time is like consonant sounds like this. This is the F in fire. It recognizes that the F consonant sounds don't have a specific note to tune to, so it leaves those out. So it's actually they've made, like I said, they've made a lot of improvements to flex pitch over the years. So I'm going to drag over all these notes and then pull the pitch correction up, and let's listen to that.
You got me going like a fire, got me going good.
And there we go. So we're basically going to go through phrase by phrase, and we are going to tune it up that way. Here's that very last word on the second phrase that we don't need to tune up, so we'll leave that out. Let's drag over all this, pull the pitch correction up, and then listen to it.
It's 2 a.m., I got you higher than she ever could.
Now notice here when she says higher, the note dips down. That's actually supposed to be a separate note there. So what we can do is we can split this note into 2 separate notes using the scissors tool. So I'll come up to the tools here, grab our scissors tool, and cut that note, and pull it down, and then retune that passage. There we go.
It's 2 a.m., I got you higher than she ever could.
So when she scoops down to that note, we can do it. Let's make sure there isn't anything like that in the first part here.
You got me going like a fire, got me...
Yeah, like on fire here. We can cut that note out. Drag over these. Readjust the pitch correction.
You got me going like a fire, got me going good.
And there you go. Let's move over to the next section. This is where she jumps up a bit.
Just let me give you all the secrets to my fantasies.
Drag over that. Now, another thing we can do is instead of using the pitch correction slider, you can right click and you can say set to perfect pitch. That's another quicker way to do it.
Just let me give you all the secrets to my fantasies.
There might be a key command for that. I'm just not sure offhand. I wonder if it's Q. Let me try Q. No, Q is time quantized. We don't want that.
I promise every night that I will have you begging, please.
Same thing here. Drag over all this. Right click. Set to perfect pitch.
I promise every night that I will have you begging, please.
There we go. We've got this here.
You got me going like a fire, got me going.
On going and fire, it seems like we want to split this note out, split that note out. Pull those down to the next note. And then we've got one of those little words at the end. Again, that's sort of more or less spoken rather than sung. So we're going to take that out. Drag over all this. Right click. Set to perfect pitch.
You got me going like a fire, got me going good.
There we go. Let's check out this next one. We could just tune it all, by the way. I'm just kind of doing it section by section so you can see what I'm doing with each phrase.
I promise every night I'll treat you like she always should.
That's good. Let's check out this next one. Right click, set to perfect pitch.
You got me going, got me burning, got me going good.
So see how this kind of jumps up there? Let's try pulling down the pitch drift amount and see if that kind of stabilizes that a little bit.
You got me going, got me burning, got me going good.
Cool. There's another thing we're going to do to get rid of some of the natural vibrato in the voice later too. Let's right click on these, set the perfect pitch.
I promise every night I love you like she never could.
All right, all good there. Let's move over to the second verse. And I'm going to try to do this a little quicker on the second verse, since we hopefully get the concept now. Just going to drag over the whole verse. Right click, set to perfect pitch.
We keep on rolling like a fire, like we always should.
Should, we can get rid of. Let me zoom out vertically here. Yeah, there we go. So there's some of those extra little notes up there that need to be gotten rid of. Yeah, on the word fire here.
Like a fire, like...
That's another of those ones where we need to cut it out and turn it into two different notes. I'll just right click and reset to perfect pitch. There we go.
Like a fire, like we always should.
Maybe not so much. I think I did a little too much. Let's try that.
Like a fire, like we always should. There's no one else I'd rather be with, but you know I could.
I don't think there's anything in there.
There's no one else I'd rather be with, but you know I could.
On could, we can get rid of these.
It's 3 a.m. I got this feeling that won't ever leave.
Oh, leave right here. Cut that out. Retune it. Whoops. There we go. I don't know if that bottom one got affected. I guess it's okay.
It's 3 a.m. I got this.
On 3, from 3 a.m., I'm going to zoom in here. And let's try to play with... Well, I don't think that's going to do it. I think the vibrato will tame that little hiccup down, but we're going to do that later, so don't worry about that for right now.
It's 3 a.m. I got this feeling that won't ever leave. Just tell me everything that you could ever want from me.
Cool. One other little thing I'm going to do here is if you hover over the right side or left side, you can actually adjust the timing of the notes. I don't like the way she said the word me there.
Want from me.
Just a little too quick. So I'm going to pull that out just to lengthen that note a little bit.
Want from me.
Much better. So now I'm going to hit Command A. So we're selecting all of the notes in the first and second verses. And I'm going to hover over the bottom center little hot point here. And this is going to adjust the vibrato amount. Let's try putting this at about 60 to 70%. Let's try like just below 70%. Let's try like 60, 66%. Let's give that a shot. So what this does, if you pull it all the way out to 0, you're going to get sort of the auto-tune robot voice effect. If you pull it down slightly, it can just help smooth out a lot of the pitch variation in the voice. And this is particularly helpful for music like this, for pop music. Let's give that a listen.
You got me going like a fire, got me going good. It's 2 a.m. I got you higher than she ever could. Just let me give you all the secrets to my fantasies. I promise every night that I will have you begging, please. You got me going like a fire, got me going good. I promise every night I'll treat you like she always should. You got me going, got me burning, got me going good. I promise every night I love you like she never could.
Cool, let's go listen to the second verse.
We keep on rolling like a fire, like we always should. There's no one else I'd rather be with, but you know I could. It's 3 a.m. I got this feeling that won't ever leave. Just tell me everything that you could ever want from me.
All right, so off screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the verse double track, and I'm going to go through and tune that entire track as well, and then I'll be right back, and then we can play both of them together. All right, so off screen, I tuned up the doubled vocal. If you're working along with me with the Logic session that you can purchase and download, you'll notice that the second vocal is quite a bit more inconsistent than the first one. There's a reason why this one's being used as a double and not as the lead. So let's just pull this down in the mix like we had before. Let's pull it over to the right. Let's kick in the whole track and let's see what these sound like.
You got me going like a fire, got me going good. It's 2 a.m., I got you higher than she ever could. Just let me give you all the secrets to my fantasies. I promise every night that I will have you begging please. You got me going like a fire, got me going good. I promise every night I'll treat you like she always should. You got me going, got me burning, got me going good. I promise every night I love you like she never could. And tell me how you love.
Cool, and then here's the second verse.
We keep on rolling like a fire, like we always should. There's no one else I'd rather be with, but you know I could. It's 3 a.m., I got this feeling I will never leave. Just tell me everything that you could ever want from me.
There you go. Overall, it just sounds like one thicker vocal. There's a few spots in there where some of the consonants come through in the doubled vocal, but we'll take care of that in mixing. We'll filter out the frequencies that are causing those consonants to come through. All right, so that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to take the verse lead track, we're going to duplicate it a couple times, and we're going to create some artificial backing harmonies based on the melody in the verse. So I'm not going to render these down yet. We'll do that at the end of the next video. Remember, if you'd like to download and purchase this session to work along with me, I will include a link in the video description to that below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.